forced to use prescription drugs to control nausea and feel as if they can, help the baby through birth. Some women are choose to use cannabis as opposed to the prescription drugs, especially in childbirth. Now, the effects on the actual child aren't as determined as we would like, and unfortunately the science may prove that there are some potential impacts on the child later on in their life and their development. And I think because of the impact on the endocannabinoid system, I think that we need to be incredibly careful about anyone under the age of 16 having exposure to cannabis, with the exception of eating it in hemp seed and such. Not that that it's a guarantee that individuals under the age of 16 develop problems. If that was the case, or if it was worse than it is, we would have some serious issues in society, and it would obviously be outlawed. But there is a small percentage of young people that can have their endocannabinoid systems messed with in their brain chemistry, and it makes it such that it's very easy for them to develop health problems later on. And it just takes one, as far as I'm concerned, out of 100 young people to develop health problems for us to be concerned enough to try and get this information out. And so one of the things about legalizing it that's critically important is that we can get into studying this and make everybody understand what's going on and why it is so important for people to wait till they're older. Now, I'm not saying that I believe this entirely. Some of the research that we look up on the internet is hard to figure out what's valid and what's not, because a lot of it's put out by the US government, and it's hard to determine sometimes what science to believe and what not. That's one of the reasons why we want this peer-reviewed journal. So when bad science comes out, we'll give it to our scientists and they'll be able to point out the flawed methodology and such. But this, I think, generally describes, and I can't wait again, like when our science research institute's up and running, we'll be able to take this science and kind of dummy it down for people like me. So what happens though is that as this endocannabinoid system is developing in your brain, and all these sensitive connections between your brain and your body and its immune system and development is occurring, that introducing exocannabinoids during that time period may interfere with the development of your, well, in this case they're using the nervous system, but again, if the endocannabinoid system's throughout the entire body, then any introduction of foreign cannabinoids in a large amount, could have a serious impact. And so maybe not on a short-term basis, right? Like, one or two tokes isn't going to have the same potential, obviously, as going months smoking on the weekends, if not every day. And so we need to try and get this information out, and it's something as cannabis activists, I think it's important to do it for several reasons. For one, everybody knows about vaporizers. Actually, you want to know more about vaporizers? CETA is coming on this weekend, so the health impacts of smoking and stuff, we'll deal with that some other time. I'm not going to have time today. But youth is one of the most controversial issues when it comes to legalizing cannabis. And I think if cannabis activists are realistic and honest about the potential negative impacts, instead of just saying, oh, there's no problem, there's no addictions, or you don't have to worry about any of this stuff, well, that really undermines the credibility of the cannabis movement, because there are some serious health impacts. We all like to pride ourselves. The growers keep going and saying we got it stronger and stronger. So we need to recognize that for some people, the strength of the cannabis today makes it very hard for them to at times operate heavy equipment, or in some cases it would seriously inhibit the development of young people's nervous systems if they used it every day at the young ages that apparently it's occurring in this day and age. So I think if we come out being intelligent, honest, concerned citizens as as pod activists, and not just say, oh, we want to do it for the taxes or we want to do it for our rights. But we want to come out and educate people about the importance of cannabis, how it helps us for all these various reasons, and how it interacts with the body in all these various ways. And at the same time, one of our primary goals is the protection of youth, the creation of an environment that is healthy for them to grow into the full and free adults that they should be when they grow up. And this law, in many ways, does not protect youth. Quite the opposite, both in terms of what could be smoked and the information that's being shared about its potential impact. And so I think we need to take this controversial issue and make it something that we don't shy away from and that we take head on, instead of denying that it can't be addictive in any way, because unfortunately, even if it's 1 out of 100 young people that lose some part of their lives because they've smoked too much when they're younger, that's preventable with better education. And so I invite you to help me with that. Thanks everybody for coming. I guess we got a big convention coming this weekend. And I will give a caution right now. Health impacts of cannabis, one of the things you got to really worry about is sharing with other people sometimes. There's a little bit of TV out on campus, so we are going to be giving people an extreme caution today at our 420 to be very careful about sharing cannabis and make sure that you're not putting any joints or anything like that to your lips. So I'm just going to throw that out there right now for people to help me out with that. So thanks everybody for coming. We got Gail again here next week, so we'll be able to throw paper airplanes at her. And thanks everybody for coming out.